Hello, 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 my friends in Sasquatch land. It is I, Discover Sasquatch. Once again, Saturday night, we are bringing back Snow White Bigfoot, my friend Angie. If you guys missed the show last night, don't forget to go back and check it out. It was an awesome show, lasted a little bit over an hour. We covered a lot of bases. Tonight, we are going to cover footprints, handprints, glyphs, X's, and structures. So without further ado, let's bring on my friend and yours, Angie, Snow White Bigfoot.
Hi, Chris.
Hello, Angie. How are you again?
Hi, everybody out there.
Did you miss me?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I just want to say it was an awesome show last night. We had a lot of positive feedback, from a lot of people, except for one guy. But hopefully, we won't be hearing from him again.
Yeah.
So, did anything else happen after we left last night with the Sasquatch on the porch?
Yeah. Well, actually, I didn't know about it till this morning because we closed everything up, went to bed. But this morning when I checked, yeah, there was a lot. They did a lot.
They seem to be liking that slinky on the back porch. Huh? Is that like one of their favorites?
They had been stacking them up. Well, when I got out there, they had them arched, both of them.
Huh. That's pretty
Plus,
cool.
They did some other stuff, so I guess you have to watch my diary that'll be out in a few days. So.
All right, nice. Well, that's kind of funny how we were talking about the double arch last night, and then all of a sudden you got a double arch with the slinky.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was trying to connect something, and I couldn't remember.
Yeah, we talked about that double arch. I think I gave you that on here tonight. But anyways, last night we visited one of Angie's first structures. This is one of her first structures, and I didn't have all the stuff on there that we should have. She has the insides of this structure, and it's pretty incredible, the size of the sticks and the logs in there. I'm going to put it on, and then she can do a little explaining, and then we're going to show you. That's the foot. Is that the footprint from North Carolina, or is that from here?
The one in the
the leaves?
Orange leaves, that's North Carolina.
Okay. So here's the inside of that structure. Now look at that main beam in there. That's pretty big.
Yeah, it was. What do you think, Jim? Like 8 inches through at least diameter. Yeah. And then what was interesting about this structure too was where it was, because right behind it, probably 5 feet, there's a really nice stream that goes, the pond drains from, kind of goes downhill and into that stream. So there's water there, and it's just like a really lush area, and it's pretty private. Like, people don't go down there or anything unless they get permission. So
it's a nice place for them to kick back down there, got time to build something like that and hang out in.
And that lasted that had been there a while, and it lasted another 4 years after that, and then it finally fell in. But it was built pretty good. And like I said, it looks smaller in the picture, but that opening in the front is 3 feet, and then it goes up another, it's like 6 to 8 feet high, the rest of it. And like I said before too, my daughter and I both climbed in there and were sitting in there comfortably. It was
pretty incredible. And you don't have any Boy Scouts camping out in your backyard either on a weekly basis.
Nope.
Okay, so where is this structure compared to the X's? Now, you were telling us last night how you had X's that surrounded your house. You had like a I don't know, like a fencing area, was it a square that they're in? The X's?
Well, actually, our property that we live on, we live like right in the middle and on a hill. And then down in the 2 valleys, there's the east and the west side. And then we got some woods behind us too. And then actually there's some more towards the front. So like in each section that I've gone into, I have found these big X's, like markers. So, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Okay, I'm gonna try and pull one up here, guys. Remember, my eye's bad, and the little. If you ever seen StreamYard little pictures here, you would understand why. I can't see it now. Is this one of them?
That's not an X, but it was
Oh, the
like a,
structure. That's the little teepee structure.
yeah. I mean, it kind of has an X shape, but yeah, and that was probably 6 feet high altogether, maybe 5. But yeah, that's one of the only TP type structures I found besides that first one.
All right, let's see this one here.
That was really cool there because it was definitely a marker. We had been up on the hill right behind there, and there's if you go to the right of that X, walk way back in there, there's a really beautiful waterfall, and there's actually we got 3 waterfalls on the property. They're not like huge, but they're pretty nice. And I mean, that's just an obvious marker.
Right.
So
Yeah. It's not gonna fall like that for sure.
no,
Now, is that is that the stream you're talking about in the picture? Like, it's a little dried up, but is that one of the streams that come through the property?
actually, that goes. Let me see how I can explain it. It goes from like the front of our property, like if you're in our house, and it runs down the hill to the pond on the west side, and then the pond dumps down into a lower area where that first structure was, and the stream that comes from that then ran behind it. So kind of it's all connected, but the pond in the middle.
Right. So do you think that they're using the X's as a strategic, or do you think that that's a spot? I believe that the X's are like a border to where they're not going to go any farther, I think, or it's an important spot for them to stay at.
Yeah, it seems to definitely mark some territory because the one that I found is right. It's like right at the edge of where it's in the back here, and right behind it gets super thick, and I can't even get back in there. So I don't know if that's where they go. I was whooped at really, really loudly one day back from that area in that valley. So I think they do go back in there. A lot I found deer bones, skulls, like a bunch of them all together up there.
And
And
how about this? Was this in the same area, the vertebrae?
that's that one was on the east side, and it was on. It was either it's I don't know whether to call it an X or an asterisk. It kind of looked like both, but it was just stuck up in there on top of the structure. So very odd.
Yeah, I found one like that here too, the vertebrae, and that it actually got replaced with a deer skull. We put it down on the ground and we took it out of the tree, and then we got a deer skull, and it's placed the next day. Yeah, that's over at Rock Trail Alley, and it's weird how you find, we're thousands of miles apart, and we're finding the same. You find the same things, and people find the bones. They find whole skeletons up in the trees, other places. So it's definitely a common thing with them, you would think.
Yeah, like what's the significance of that? It must be something.
Maybe
But
I don't know. Maybe a hunting trophy. Maybe that's where they got the deer from, and it's a marker where or I don't know.
Anybody's.
All right. So let me hold on 1 second.
Do you have that structure that it was on? Think you can find it?
The structure that it was on.
Is that one of the X's?
Okay.
If you can't, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
No, I'll find it. I'll find it. You can't mark these things either, and that's the bad part. That's
nope.
One. That's not the one. I'm sorry again, everybody. That's not the one. No, I can't.
It's okay. Don't worry about it, Chris.
All right. I apologize. I had a bad day today.
Yeah.
Let's get past the X's and let's move on to the prints. You've found many prints.
Yeah.
I was checking.
Are you talking handprints or footprints?
Footprints. We're going to go with footprints first. And you sent me a ton of them today. And
yeah.
How often do you find them around the house?
I used to find them more frequently than I do now, but still find them. That one that we're looking at was at the lake, and I found a whole bunch that one day. So, I mean, you can definitely see toes there, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, they're down 3 inches in the ground now. These are all from the lake.
Yeah, no, like that one was more like 5 to 6 inches deep. Yeah. Like my whole hand would fit down in it.
So you're finding multiple tracks. You're finding, like last night you were talking about how you think there's like 10 of them on the property. You're finding 10 different size prints.
Yeah.
How far away is the lake from your property?
Less than 2 miles that way. And then we got another lake less than 5 miles that way. So it's kind of a prime spot for, I figured that they're in, that's like part of their circuit, because I have found the same size prints there and here. And then one time when we went to the lake that's on this side, we walked in, we hadn't been exploring that for very long, but we walked in, and that owl mimic that they do here all the time did it as soon as we walked in. It was like, you're kidding me. That's got to be one of our Bigfoots. You know, it sounded just like it.
So I'm going to get a footprint pulled up right here. This is I believe this is in your garden. And that's a pretty good size footprint.
Yeah, I think it was 14 inches long and it was wide, as you can see.
All right. Now, is that in your flower garden, or is that outside the railing of the porch?
That was in a vegetable garden area. So that's kind of out. Like if you're standing on our back porch, it would be over to the left in the yard. So that was, I couldn't believe. And it was old when I found it because I'd been working a lot and I didn't get a chance to go check stuff very good. It's like, oh God, if I just could have gotten out there sooner when it was fresh, I maybe could have even cast it, because there was more than one. I think there was a 10-inch one going this way across the garden, and this one was coming this way. It looked like it stepped over the 14-inch one. So there was like 14 and a 10 that day, I think.
That's awesome. That's awesome. When did it take them a while? Because they usually don't like to leave prints. When did you first start noticing them leaving the prints on the property?
Pretty much. I started noticing stuff right away, even like back at the gifting log, coming up out of there and around the hill that goes down into it. I found prints on it, and the little 5-inch juvie print that I sent you, that was right up the hill from the gifting log.
Yep.
So yeah, I found them pretty much right away.
I think I got that. Hold on one sec. Oh no, it's on the wrong screen. No, I don't got that. That's on the other screen.
It's the cutest little thing.
Yeah. Yep.
You see the toes.
You guys can all hate me in the morning. All right, so got the X's and surrounding. We got the structures in the middle of the things and the footprints going on. So what I don't understand is how can people, we got messages today that you don't have Bigfoot in your property, you have bear. You have a bear that is coming onto your property on a daily basis and moving things around. And I don't, with the amount of evidence that you've gathered with the structures and the prints and this and that, how could somebody even think that there's a bear there? I just don't understand that part with all the data that you collected.
Yeah, bears don't leave handprints with dermal ridges and swirl patterns
Right.
on the car.
Right. Yeah, those are incredible. Those are incredible pictures. Here, I'll show some. Here's a handprint on your on the glass table outside.
I think that was the most recent one. It was pretty big. It was bigger than Jim's quite a bit. That was a little juvenile on the flower pot. Looked like it, because there was one on the other side too. It looked like it picked it up. Little muddy little.
Right, I remember that. I remember that from the video. So now they've started trying to, what I think is, communicate with you by leaving glyphs and signs of them. I don't know, language. When did you start noticing or picking up on that part of it?
That was not very long after it all started too. I mean, I would see things around the yard. Well, not just the yard, but when I'd go out walking around our property or in the woods, just you'd find these things that there's just no way possible that it could be natural, because they're too perfectly angled or lined up, or it's so. I mean, I found some really incredible ones in the yard, and then just in the last few months, I started making them on my front porch, and it was like, well, if you ever doubted whether they make glyphs, that should answer, any doubt, because there ain't anything else going to be making perfect little glyphs on my front porch. There's nobody here.
Right, and you have them all. Here's one from your front porch.
Yeah, that was the first one that they left.
Right. I mean, it's not gonna happen like that naturally. The wind's not gonna blow that. And what I've seen from a lot of your pictures that you've shared with me is that Y is very common and everything. Even the sticks that they stick in the ground are Ys.
Y is very important here for this clan for whatever reason. I've wondered a lot of times whether it's their clan symbol, because I would find them all around the property, and they would be not just some Y stick that fell from the tree, but it looked too perfect, like they had made it or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they would be very similar. And then they started gifted. One time, I think the first one that they gifted me was in my chair on the front porch, right dead center of my chair. It wasn't the one Jim sits in, it was the one I sat in. And just this perfect little Y stick. And it was like, I felt like I was being accepted into the clan.
Yeah, and then I would never even thought of that. Even being a clan symbol. That's pretty. That's a great theory. Really great theory.
I mean,
do you still have that stick? Is that in the house?
I don't believe I have that one, but I have some other ones that I've kept. I had a little faux pas where I lost some of my stuff. Yeah, I've still got the first Y stick I found was this delicate little. It was down here, down below our house. There's like the dump area, and then there's the section where they hang out a lot. We hear vocals coming from there all the time. And just like at the edge of the woods under a tree, it was just laying there, and it was just it had been, all the bark was stripped off, and it was perfectly it was so delicate. I could probably go get it and show you, but I don't know if I want to get up.
Okay.
It's just, you want me to get it?
Yeah, go ahead if you want to. I'm sure people will love to see it.
Hang on.
Right. For everybody watching, Angie, we're going to have Angie back again, but we're going to bring her back once my eye is all healed up, and we're going to really do a really, really, really good show for you guys. I can only see like, I don't know, 55%. So I apologize again. This is not any of Angie's fault for not being able to find stuff. It's all mine. So.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Keep this in my bedroom.
How's Jim feel about that?
He's fine with it. Yeah, well, see, I'm not too good at this.
Oh, you can see it perfect. You can pull it back. You don't have to get that close.
That one is the one I was talking about, and it's stripped of bark, and it's just really delicate. In fact, it broke a little bit and I had to tape it. But this is a more recent one that they have given me. See how it's arched?
Yeah.
And this was on the front porch, and this was on the chair in the back porch. So, and this was,
it's almost like a wishbone arch like that. That's what reminds me of a wishbone.
Yeah. And then this one was the one that was in the hosta stem outside of our bedroom window that they stuck through the hosta stem.
Oh, I got that picture. I do. Here it is.
Yep, that's it.
Now that's crazy. It goes through how many leaves? 1, 2?
I think it was just through one, but it stayed there forever. I mean, I think whenever everything started dying, I took it out and brought it in because I didn't want to lose it. It was right below our bedroom window. Like they've marked around our bedroom a lot.
Yeah, they leave a lot of Y sticks like leaning up against your window. I've seen all those pictures too. What's the tomahawk?
Yeah, that was one of the first things that they gave me. That so if I could keep only one thing, this is probably the thing I would keep. But when I was still back at the gifting back there, I did this whole big setup, and this tail was on this mouth. And one day I went back there and they had done a whole bunch of moving things, and I noticed that the tail was gone from the mouth. So it was like a week or so later, this showed up on my back on the bench in the backyard with the tail in. There's a slit. I don't know if you can see it.
No, you're good. You don't have to get that close. You're good.
There's a slit.
Yeah.
And they put the bell through there. And they gave this to me. I don't know if they made it for themselves or if they made it for me or what, but they also put this rock with it.
Right.
Does
that rock fit in the slot?
Well, it probably could. I think the slot might be too thin, but it looks like it's about the right size.
Right. Yeah, it reminds me of a tomahawk.
It wasn't in it. It was beside it. So just like that.
So that was the first gift they brought to the porch right there?
Trying to think. It might be the first gift. It wasn't the first item that they brought to the porch because they had taken a snail or a shark's eye shell and from the gifting log, and then they returned it to the back porch. That was the first thing that they brought there. And then this was, I think it was within a couple weeks after that. I'd have to look. It was pretty soon after that.
Pretty cool.
it happened. They brought this after I started responding to their bringing that shark's eye to the railing. So I started putting some stuff out and trying to interact there since they brought it to our house. And then they showed up with this. So
Yeah,
they'd
they usually let you know what they want. I mean, they're not afraid to show you what they're, they'll point you in the right direction. You just got to see it.
yeah.
You definitely see what you definitely see what they're doing. Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. So this was just some of the stuff I've kept recently. This is where they tried to write with this blue crayon. Right. They wrote here. In here, that's their marks.
You probably can't see because it's black, but you remember this?
Yes.
Oh, I got a gift from Angie because I sent her a stone, and I mean, we're good friends. We send stuff back and forth. I let her borrow a thermal camera, and so she sent me stuff from the porch too, and I have that, and I also have the triangle game, and
yeah,
it was pretty cool. But I found a stone. I was gifted a stone probably 3 years ago, and 2 pieces fell off of it, and I sent one to Angie, and I'll let her finish the story. She put it on the back porch for a while, but then she moved it to the front, and then had some pretty cool stuff go on with it.
Yeah, they started moving it around. If I remember right, they put it right in the middle of the front step, the very top step on the front porch. And then they started moving it around like that quite a bit. And then one day it disappeared, and I think it was gone a day or two, and then they brought it back. I forget where they put it, somewhere on the front porch. Right. And then after that, they didn't mess with it for a while, and then they were putting it down on the ground in front of the steps and like off to the side in the dirt. I don't know what that was all about. Right, they were messing with it there for a while.
Yeah, it's just strange how I was gifted it, then you give it to other people, and then they notice it and they play with it, and
yeah,
I wonder if it's all linked or if it's a special kind of a stone. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really cool, whatever it is.
Right. I gave another piece to my friend Dan Nedrilo, and he put it at his area, and it actually disappeared, and 2 stones were left in its place, and it never came back, but they left the 2 stones in its place. So the stone from here has gotten touched by 2 other clans. So I don't know. Who knows? It could be all part of a big circle, and they all know, they can tell, but who knows?
Right. Hey, Amy's trying to mess with my stuff. I got to. All right. Sorry about that. She was trying to eat all my Bigfoot stuff. So.
Okay.
Do that.
It is okay. All right. So so they leave more intricate glyphs also. I'm gonna pull up another one here. Now that A glyph was around for a couple years all over the place.
Yeah.
Did you find that a lot in your area?
Yeah, a lot of A's, a lot of T's, a lot of triangles.
And what's that?
That's just one of the more intricate ones that they have made. And I mean, you might think that's just like 1 or 2 sticks that fell, but it's actually 1, 2, at least 3. And like, I can't point, but overlapping and under.
Oh yeah, they're all weaved in. One's underneath the other. Can you see the cursor or no? No cursor?
No.
Okay.
But
yeah,
anyways,
they're all one on top of each other and underneath each other. It's crazy.
And then right in the middle is that little like square. So they've combined 3 sticks to make that, whatever it is.
And then on the outside, you got two triangles.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to find another glyph here. These are on the side
Yeah,
of the porch.
right. And those are T's. And they look just like one that I found down in the woods prior to this. Except the one in the woods was made of sticks. These ones were made from stems from the plants in the yard. So
right. They wouldn't just, the wind wouldn't just blow them off. I mean, here's another one now. That's not going to blow off like that.
no. And it's right in front of, I used to gift at that board right there beside the basketball. And it's right in front of it. So not sure what it was supposed to mean, but
yeah, what do you think? What do you think? You've got a big, huge collection. I mean, you even made videos on the glyphs. What do you think they all mean? I don't know too many other people that get them, so you're like one of the only ones, really.
Well, I definitely think they're symbols of, it means something to them for sure. I think it's definitely a communication between them, but I think that they're also trying to communicate to me. I don't know what they're saying, but I feel like it's, I can't say they have a written language, but I think that they use those to communicate with themselves and with humans, possibly. At least with me, it seems like they're trying. I mean, why else would they be making a moment for a porch if they weren't trying to shape something?
I mean, for a little bit there, they were going day after day with different glyphs on the front porch.
Yeah, there were, in that first one that you showed, they actually added to it and changed it. So it went from the Y with the open square type of deal to like it was a hashtag. So they put, and they also put, I think, a piece of straw under that or something like that.
Right. No, I remember. Yeah, that was crazy. It was like, and then you took them apart, right, and laid them all in a straight line, and then they would come back and they would put another glyph up the next day.
I would try to leave it unless like the wind would blow it or something. Because the reason there was straw on the front porch was because it had been winter and we got a lot of snow, and Jim was using a broom to sweep his boots off before he came in. And so there were pieces of straw all over the front porch, and one day there was a glyph made with them. I was like, whoa.
Right.
It was,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
well, it was just like, no doubt that's what it was. I mean, a straw isn't going to form a Y and then an open square or rectangle or whatever you want to call it, right beside it. This is not going to happen.
How do you think they sneak up on your porch? I mean, you could be right in the living room. Like last night, I was talking to you. We were talking before the show last night, and they threw a rock on the house, and then all of a sudden they were up on the porch within 2 minutes, and then they were gone.
Well, they're very stealthy, for one thing. They know us and our routine, I think, enough to maybe know like where we're at in the house. But sometimes it blows us away too. We're like, how did we not just see them come up to the porch? Because we could be sitting right in here, maybe having supper or something, and they do something on the front porch. It's like, there is a blind spot, but they have to know where they're safe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and I think watch to see where we are in the house.
Right. There's definitely not just one of them there. There's a couple of them signaling to each other. They have to use, they have to use like army techniques or, surveillance. And all right, they're in the kitchen. Make the break for it. Get the slinky. Get out.
There have been times that I almost caught him. I forget all the circumstances behind it, but I went out I was heading out to the back porch, and there's a window. The door is here, and then there's a window, and there's the landing where you walk out. When I hit that landing, I saw this black bird go. I mean, it was just like so fast, but there's something just streaked across the backyard. So I think that was the first glimpse that I've had of him. But there was like another time I walked out there, and I think I surprised him, and I heard something big run from the back porch area into the like there's brush right at the side of the yard, not too far. I heard him run into that. And then the next morning, I went out there and I looked and I found a footprint where it had stepped into the leaves and the dirt right there and had, taken off down into the brush. So I definitely almost caught one that day. And I've seen him like one day, I think they were up messing on the front porch. I put some things out there. I was experimenting, and I think I was vacuuming and I was like at our bedroom, and I looked and I saw something streak around, something dark go by the window that day. And when I went and looked at the front porch, it had been messed with. So I'm pretty sure they had just taken off. So there's been a lot of close calls, and Jim has seen things several times too. So
have you ever tried to trick them?
Huh?
Have you ever tried to trick them into thinking that you were in one spot and waiting for them in another? Or have you ever played that game?
No, probably not that. But I've tried to trick them on, like put a hidden camera looking out the window at the porch,
Right.
Go well.
Yeah, that doesn't fool them.
Go well.
Yeah, what do you think the deal? What do you think the deal is with the hidden cameras? You think they can see that, or they just see you putting them down?
Probably both. Because they, for one thing, they notice every little minute detail that's different. They'll notice it.
Oh yeah.
And so, if I'm going to move a cabinet over in front of the window, that looks out onto the porch with a hole, with the camera looking, they're going to know it. I thought I was being sneaky, but no, they just quit doing anything till I took it away.
Right. To kind of like punish you. Yeah, we're not going to come around for a while. And that's what happened with me when I put a recorder right on top of the gift rock, and we caught one of them snapped the tree. I mean, crack, and was mad. I mean, it broke a tree that was like probably 4 inches thick, and he just caught it right on the recorder. And then they didn't come back for like a month.
Huh.
So.
Yeah, and I tried it on the back porch too. I had a camera set up it had that Alfred app that's like you take an old phone, have it looking out the window, and then it sends the pictures or the video back to your phone so you can see what's going on.
Yep.
And I had it out there for a while, and pretty much nothing happened. But one day we went to my mother's to help do yard work for her, and we were down there all day. We come back, and they had been at the back porch and around the garage banging and knocking and doing all kinds of stuff, but never once did you see them go in front of the camera. But you could hear them like all day long while we were gone. It was loud bangs and stuff. There's a video on my channel pretty early on with that. So I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, a lot of people, you should go back in time and look at Angie's early stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know about. And, it's pretty, it's as interesting as the stuff that's going on now, and this has been going on for a long time now. So,
yeah, I always recommend to people that are new to my channel to go back to the beginning and watch the videos in order, because for one thing, it's diary, so it's chronological. And also, like the videos that I have in between, like going for the walks in the woods or whatever, there's a lot of information in there too, like with the structures and the bone up in the tree, and it's just it's all one story that needs to be like taken in order.
Right.
Yeah,
As it should be. Yep.
it makes
So,
more sense.
all right. So let me get here. Where would you like to head next?
Oh, just start putting pictures up and we'll talk about them if you want to just throw anything up there.
All right. All right. Let's talk a little bit about this print.
Yeah. Okay. The structures that you were showing last night that were the little tiny
Yep.
bear in North Carolina, I found this print at the same time back in there. And it was big. It was really, really big. And also that big structure was found at the same time too.
Is this the one that it was around?
Yeah. There was actually, this one was kind of big that you're looking at right now, and there were some smaller ones, but this one was just like, if you notice at the very front of the picture, you see that little square. It looks like a doorway.
Yeah.
That's actually two sticks. One is broken over to make that like a doorway. I don't know what else to call it. And then they got the pine cones lined up to go that meet the two sticks that go up in there to that nest or whatever that is.
Right.
And then behind that, I've got a picture of it, but I don't think I sent it to you. They got that, the pine needles, whatever, piled up all behind it. And that's one thing I don't see a child or a person taking the time to do, really.
Yeah, no. Especially this one here. This one is just take time out of their day and make that.
Right. And it's over a little bed of moss, which is really cute. And I mean, it's like a teepee, but it was only about a foot high, a foot tall, the whole thing, but cute and intricate. And what's interesting is it's probably 2 or 3 years ago now, maybe one, I don't know, within the last couple years. When I was down there, Jim and I walked back the horse trail, and we were seeing all kinds of sign. It seemed to be Bigfoot sign. And they have these post markers to mark the trail. And there was like stuff arranged around those. Plus, I find like sticks in the ground. There was awesome, big, huge, like glyphs, but huge ones. And just all kinds of stuff like that. But anyways, that day that we were noticing all that, we walked back out, and there's a boardwalk, then you can walk clear back to the sound. And we did that. We turned around, we come back, and on our way back, there was a hunk of moss laying right at the edge of the boardwalk. And it wasn't there when we walked back, and there wasn't anybody else back there. So they gifted us that moss. And I was like, I couldn't believe it, It's one thing to gift it here, but somewhere like that, I mean, crazy.
Right. Yeah. We were talking, Leanne was on Tuesday night, and she's got a moss garden going on right now too, which is, now that you're bringing it up, she's got the same thing going on with moss too. So
really,
that's crazy. Yeah. She's got it. Yeah. It's craziness. So now it's happening down here, and I wonder if it goes in cycles. I wonder if I don't know if it's routine for them to do things at certain times of the year, and I don't know. It'll stress you out if you think about it.
I'm not sure what time of year it was that they did that. We usually go in April or May, and then we go again in late September, usually. So it was one of those two times. And also, when we've been back in there, one time we heard a tree break or something. And then after that, a knock. So I mean, they're definitely what when we first found those structures down there. It's the Outer Banks, and I was thinking, there is no way that Bigfoot is on the Outer Banks, but they are. They definitely are.
And you know how to find them because you know what to look for. Because
Right.
you notice those little things. People are going to walk right by those structures that I just showed. No one's going to pay attention to something that's 3 inches high, and it looks like the Thunderdome from Mad Max, and it's tiny. Everybody's going to walk right by that, but not the people that are involved with Sasquatch. You notice those things. Your eyes are always moving and looking for them. So,
well, yeah. Whenever it's like once you become aware of that, you never walk into the woods and look at anything the same again. It's totally different.
right.
And like you said before, you would just walk right by something and not even think twice. But once you know that Bigfoot's real and that they could be in your woods, and you go, and then you'll start noticing stuff that it's just not natural. It doesn't naturally occur. Things don't form intricate glyphs and structures on their own.
Right, 100% on that.
Yeah.
Well, our special guest is back once again.
Yeah.
I told Maria was watching the grandbabies last night during the interview, and I told her about the story how they took the cat. They did what? They took the cat.
She wasn't gone long. It was only like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know, but still, she couldn't believe it. Did they bring it back? Because I told her about the cow incident that you were telling me about, that you told everybody last night about first.
Yeah.
And she's like, the whole cow? I'm like, yeah. And I said, that was, I never heard that story before. So,
yeah, that was a crazy one. And, we have cows here. They're not ours. A guy leases the land and puts them in, but I don't think they've messed with them here. I mean, there have been some, like one time we saw one looked like it fell over the cliff right over here. That one was a little questionable, but yeah, I don't think they do.
well, I think it's different in with you. I think it's different around you. I think it's you're safe. Your area is safe. I think that's what the X's that border your property mean. Don't mess with anything in here. This is this is a safe place for us. This is a trusted place. No harm will become of you. It's valuable to them to know they have a place where they can go and they won't be bothered, and they don't have to worry about a hunter hiking up on them or.
Yeah, and there are hunters come here, but usually it's just family of the landowner, people that have special permission, and it's usually only like for that 1 week during deer season, or just very limited. So I think they do feel safe here.
I'm sure they had the lookout. They see that cabin being opened up and getting ready to be used. I'm sure they know that's time to hightail it for a little bit and then come back.
Right. Do you remember the glyph thing I just found back there this year after gun season?
Yes, right on the front porch there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was shaped with 2 sticks, I think, and it looked just like a rifle or something.
Yeah, it looked like a gun.
It was like
hunters are here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm going to take a couple questions from everybody. Let's get off the picture thing for a little while because I messed that up.
It's all right.
I know. I'm going to make up for it. Believe me, the next one, we're going to do a third one once my eye is healed, and we're going to do it right. I promise. All right. Let's see if we can find a question for you on here. Nothing all right. Okay, here we go. Oops. Kim, can I click on this and show it? Whoa, look at that. It's something new.
Uh-huh. Yes, it definitely does. A lot of like last night, whenever the rocks were hitting the roof, she would jump, and she does that a lot. When she like, I'll be sitting here and I'll hear something and she'll look out the window or something, or sometimes like she wants outside so bad she goes to the door and begs and whines and wants out there. Sometimes we'll let her out and she'll go out and like be out there for a minute and then she'll be like, want back in. It's like something's just not right. And she doesn't want anything to do with it. So she'll come back in.
Yeah, Larry has a chocolate lab, and he knows when they're around. Larry's wife sees them more than we do. She gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and his dog reacts to them. But she's seen them a lot. But the dog is always barking at like 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. And nothing. She'll walk them out, and just like the cat, she'll freak out over something or notice something that they're around. And I think animals can pick up on it too.
Oh yeah.
I feel sorry for that lady. She's gotten the most interaction out of any of us up there. They slapped the house one time when she was in the living room by herself, just right on the side of the house. Swat! She got mad at us. She said, "Never again. You guys are never, ever, ever going back up there." And yeah, we got in trouble.
Yeah, they've done that here quite a bit too. And what's funny is it's been a couple years ago, but there was 2 different times I went out and I built a fire in the fire pit, but I didn't light it. And we'd had several before, and they make all kinds of vocalizations from the woods at us. I've got thermal where they've come up and we're very close. But these 2 times, they saw that I'd built the fire but didn't light it. I came back in the house, and then I was in here while we were just waiting, talking and stuff, and bang, right on the back of the house. They were like, I think they were saying, "Hey, come out here and light that fire. Let's get going." And they did that 2 different times. Okay. So.
Oops, that's not it. What's happening here? Here's a good question. Really good question, if I can get it. Do you think you're protected by them?
Yeah, to an extent. I don't know what the extent is, but I do feel like if anything really bad would happen, they would react. I know that they mark the house. I mean, I have found so many markers, like on this window, around our bedroom, the Y stick in the hosta. They put a Y stick up on the ledge here. They just marked right outside our bedroom with a stick stuck in the ground right there in front of our bedroom. And I mean, that stuff, they do that all the time. So, and of course they don't last forever. So I think they have to change the markers, but I feel like that's something that they're saying, "Hey, leave them alone. They're mine," or something like that. So, and then there was also that one time that Jim and I we went outside and we're sitting on the porch, and there became this real heavy, ominous feeling in the air, and we heard something that sounded like it was either thumping the ground or beating like their chest. I mean, it was loud thumps. And that went on for a while, and so we decided to get in the car, go see if we could find out what was going on. So we drove around and we got on the road. There's like back dirt roads and stuff. We were coming around back to our house, and on that dirt road there's a cornfield. I don't think there was corn in it at the time. It was just bare. But we both saw something brown kind of go like glide across that field. It was too big to be a deer, and it was moving like this. It was on all fours, whatever it was. But so we saw that night, and then we came back to the house, and we stopped at the top of the driveway, and I rolled the window down a little bit, and it was just that horrible ominous, like something just wasn't right. We felt like we shouldn't be outside. So we came in for a while and we went back out on the porch. And after a little bit, it lifted. The mood changed. And, it was gone. So we don't know if there was, like a rogue Bigfoot in the area, or, they were fighting, or they were giving us the cue that you shouldn't be out here right now, or something like that. So, yeah. I do feel like they kind of look after us.
I agree 100% with that. Yeah. Especially if they're something bad, they're going to let you know if it's in the area. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I have a question from last night. I don't know if it's that you were concerned about it, but how did the guy from the BFRO just stroll up to your house by chance?
I don't know. I do not know. That was very strange. I still wonder about it.
Yeah, that is pretty strange. I mean, just strolled right up, knocked right on your door, or waited for you. How did that all happen?
Yeah, we went out and talked to him on the front porch, and yeah, I don't know. He said that he kind of likes to research this area, but he was going to just kind of back off and let me do it. So I was like, okay.
Was that from the look from Jim?
But he was real nice. He was a very nice guy. And I mean, he said we could go to the property next door and look around. He said he thought that there was an old coal mine back in there. So I thought maybe there was an entrance that they were getting into, but I never did really find it. But I don't know where they go in the winter. They go somewhere when it gets really bad. We don't know where, and I'd like to find it. But yeah, he said we could go there, and so that was nice. So there was some good came out of that too.
Nice. Okay. As long as has anybody else ever tried to get on the property out there? Have you ever noticed snoopers or?
There's been a few times that we've questioned, like, yeah, there's been a couple times we don't know who they were or what they were doing, but hopefully they don't.
No suits, just regular clothes.
I don't think we ever actually saw the person.
Oh.
We see cars or trucks parked, or actually we heard guns going off down there one time.
Oh,
it's like, no. Yeah. So that's not good.
No. All right. I just wanted to touch on that. And I don't know. It takes a lot of kahookies to show up on someone's front porch. Okay, here we go. We got another question. Here we go. Ever come across a random person in the woods that seems out of place? Well, I just asked that, huh?
I've never come across anybody, personally, like face to face. But like I said, we've heard people and seen possibly. I mean, it could just be, who knows who it was. It might not have been anybody here for that reason. So, it's just, you don't really know for sure.
Okay, I got another good one here if I can catch it. Do you think when Rick visited, the boogers were like, who's the wild man?
I don't think they were very happy about his visit, especially at first. When he first came, I had a side-by-side that I borrowed. And the first night he was looking for a place to camp, but we also went to look around. So we were down in there doing that. We come back up, and all the stuff on the railing was pushed to the side, except for like one thing. It's like they were throwing a fit or something. And then I think we came in and ate, and I set it back up, went back out, and they did it again. So, I mean, he heard vocalizations. He heard stuff going on. So he knew they were here for sure. But see, whenever the day he was leaving, because he was here 2 or 3 days, and the day he was leaving, they put a stick or something on his truck. So I don't know if they were getting used to him, and they were like, okay, I guess you're all right. Here's a,
Right.
stick. But yeah, at first I don't think they were too happy. And that's when they took that first night was when they took the recorder, the audio recorder. And I thought, yes, we're going to get great audio. Finally, I was hoping they would take it. And they had it for a month or so. And it comes back in pieces. And they somehow managed to get the SD card out and broke it. So there was no getting no audio off of it.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite interactions from your show was when they got the recorder back with the stick in the slot, and so funny.
Yeah, the first thing that came back was the back to the battery department, and they put it in the basket that I hang off the garage. And the second thing that came back were the batteries. They put them on the front porch, and actually, I think they put them beside my boots that I kept out there for a while. And Jim came home from work and was sitting out there for some reason and found them, and he moved them, and then he went back to work. I was at work. I came home and his chair was knocked over. I don't think they were very happy that he found them instead of me. But so that was the second thing that came back. Then the third thing was the SD card. They put it in the little metal basket, broken, and they gave me 1 or 2 gifts that day. One was right in the basket with it. So they were like saying, here's your broken thing. I'm sorry I broke it, and here's a gift. And then it was I think it was at least weeks later that the whole thing came back. And I'd been putting the audio recorder in the window here and leaving it all night because I had 2 different ones. So they had one, I had one. But they brought it back, and we have a little ledge that goes around the siding, like under the windows and stuff. And they brought the recorder back and put it on that little ledge right here in the front. And whenever I looked at it, it had in the SD slot sticks. I dug out a bunch of sticks. I think they were prying or sticking sticks in there or something. So, but it kept working. That was a good audio recorder. It kept working for a long time. I was surprised. It was scratched up too. The front of it.
I remember what it looked like. It was beat up.
Yeah. They definitely put it through the ringer, but Jim always says they know all about those recorders now. They took it apart.
Right.
They got that number down.
Okay. What's her name? Annette Alvey. Please ask your question. The thing's scrolling by so fast I can't get your questions. I'll wait for yours right now to come across. Sorry about that. If you're still with us. Okay, here she is. All right. Well, I'll keep on checking and see as she comes back. So, all right, here's a question. When you first started this, who were you watching? Who was your role model? Who did you look up to and follow?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Help you through it.
Well, like I said, I started reading lots of books at first and watching videos and YouTube and all that. I read Lauren Coleman's book, Jeff Meldrum's book, lots of books. But I also started watching Timber Giant Bigfoot and Thinker Thunker, Christopher Noel's channel, Impossible Visits.
I watched that too when I first started. I love that channel.
When I first watched his stuff, I was like, he's crazy. What is he out there sitting with Bigfoots and talking to him, and they're throwing stuff at him? I thought, it's cool, but he's crazy.
He got 400-foot cord buried in the ground with a shovel, and I mean, he went after it for sure.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
But and now we're friends, and it's like, that's wild.
That's the best part. That's the best part about this whole thing. You can contact each other and, start talking, and you're not alone.
Yep. Yeah. I'm trying to think who else. Rio, Nathan Rio, watched his stuff. I'm sure there were more, but those are the ones that stick out to me. Especially Christopher's stuff. That kind of blew me away.
Right. Well, here's another guy that, he documents everything. Everything's written down. You know what time it is. You know when the wind's blowing. You know which way the wind's blowing. I mean, it's important. It's all important stuff.
Yep.
Sure. All right.
Some of the gets too is just incredible.
Here we go. What time of the year do you feel they're more active?
Definitely spring. And it seems like in the summer, if it's real hot, the activity slows down. I don't think they like it when it gets real hot. I know I don't like it. But also in the winter, if it gets either really cold or snowy, the activity slows down. So spring and fall are the most active times. And the summer, I'd say, would be third, unless it's really, really hot.
Yeah. And in the winter, they're gone.
They're not gone.
Oh, yeah. Once a month, we get them.
Yeah. Well, here they'll go away. Usually it's not more than 10 days or 2 weeks. And that's during those really bad spells in the winter. Right. But when it starts to get a little bit nicer and the temperature rises, they can't be very far away because the activity starts again. So I know they're not migrating, far off. They're just going somewhere and hunkering down to wait out the bad weather. And I also think that they must store food wherever they go. And it also seems like there are certain times of the year that they seem busy, like distracted doing stuff, and they're not as busy here. So I think at those times they might be gathering food, like in the fall, getting ready for winter. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they brought me walnuts. I don't even know how many times. So I'm pretty sure that's a food source for them. And they are just extremely plentiful on this property, along with some other nuts. And so I think they do store up. And then it seems like, I think, because sometimes in the winter you'll hear more vocalizations too here. So I'm thinking that they might have their food stores, but then go supplement it with hunting. So I think the vocalizations we hear sometimes is them communicating to hunt.
I agree with you 100%. That's the benefit of having a trading post or gifting area. You can gather that data and you can put that together. Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody else, other people, investigators are in the woods, and and they know what they're doing, but they just can't log it like people they have them coming to their areas all the time. I agree with you 100% on the gathering part. I think there's time of the years. That's what we've noticed is when the nuts are falling and the mushrooms are out. They're gathering. They're busy. I mean, we went in. There was a patch of mushrooms that was probably about an acre wide one day,
Wow.
and the next day we came in and they're all gone. And the deer aren't going to come in and eat all them mushrooms, or else they're going to be tripping out somewhere. You know what I mean? But they were
Yeah.
all taken, gathered. There was nothing left.
Yeah.
So I agree with you 100%. 100% on that.
And then there's something else that I've noticed too, over and over and over again. The gifting or whatever, the interactions at the porch. If it stops and nothing happens, it's usually between 5 and 7 days that it'll start up again. And that's been very common that I can almost say, okay, I think something's going to happen today or tomorrow within that 5 to 7 days. So I don't know if that's how long it takes them to go in their circuit or, I don't know what it is for sure, but that's happened so many times that I can't even count.
Right.
It's something I've learned. It's not always completely, 5 to 7 days, but it's happened a lot. So
pretty close.
yeah.
There we go. I think this is Annette Alvary's question finally hit the table. Do the game wardens know about Bigfoot, or what about officers in your area?
I've never talked to any game wardens. Have you, Jim? Game wardens or anything? Just, my stepson, Jim's oldest son, is a deputy sheriff, and he's taken a lot of calls in the area, Bigfoot related.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Something that nobody probably knows. It's pretty cool.
And there was also several years back on the front page of our local newspaper an article about this family that was having a fire, at night out back of their house. And I think what it said was that they saw a hand come out of the bushes or whatever and try to grab their dog. And that was probably within 20 miles of us that it happened. But that was on the front page of our paper.
Oh, wow.
And it happened at the same time that there was a lot of other stuff going on around here, like the calls coming into the sheriff's office. He answered at least 3 or 4 around the same time. People calling and
That's crazy.
yeah.
I'm living in the wrong part of the country because nobody talks about it here. I got a question here. I'm from Northwest Connecticut, Kim. With nobody around over here in the eastern states, nobody talks about it. You can't get people to, if they have interaction, you can't. Nobody, and they're here. For sure.
I've heard Wes Germer talk about that on Sasquatch Chronicles about the certain areas, and I think New England's one of them. It's like people just don't want to talk.
Nope, nobody will. I've tried. I put it out there. I'm thinking about putting a newspaper article out because I want to start, going to these areas and see if I can pick up on the signs but nothing. Would you go other places, or are you just happy where you're at? Would you go? I know you go to North Carolina, but would you go to, like, if somebody said come to Washington and you and Jim come out for a week and come camping, would you guys do that?
We went down to Rick's and spent a couple days down there, but other than that, we haven't done it. It would be fun, but I don't see us really doing it because, first of all, my health isn't that great, and I have a hard time just getting around in our woods. And I don't know, just taking the time off, Jim taking the time off work, and it would be fun. I'd like to do it, but
you never know. Never know.
Yeah, like going out with you, that would be cool.
Yeah, I would love to come. I keep on teasing you. I'm ready to rent a bedroom for summer. I keep on telling Marie, I said, yeah, I'm going to spend the summer at Angie's this year.
Yeah, we want
I'll
to be
mow the
able.
lawn. Tell Jim I'll mow the lawn. You won't have to worry about it.
Of course, I can't guarantee what the Bigfoot will do if he comes.
Right. Well, I
Like,
mean, it's that certain temperament too. I mean, everywhere I've gone, and I mean, maybe I'm blessed or cursed or but I've had interaction everywhere. I've been to Missouri, I've had interaction. I've been to Colorado, I've had interaction. Massachusetts, interaction. New York, interact. Everywhere I've gone so far. So
yeah.
I'm sure other people do it too. I mean, and I'm sure you would be that way too. Like when you went to Rick's place, what happened there?
Well, we were only there like a day and a half. We spent one night. There wasn't really any activity, but he showed us a lot of the cool, like woven stuff and caves, and
Yeah, I remember the caves. Those were cool.
but we didn't hear or see any
Right.
stuff at the time.
Did you get a chance to check out that chicken thing that I told you about the other day? That live camera?
And been busy doing other stuff, but I'm gonna
No, I
probably.
know. That's crazy. All you hear is the chicken go, bark, 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 and then all of a sudden you hear bark, 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 gone.
He's had some of the most incredible stuff happen down there.
Yeah.
And did you see the cave that he found where there was the writings like on the wall? And they were in there. I think there was one in there staying, doing stuff. I mean, he found something up in, I think, a nest, a keychain.
Yeah, he's got another unique area for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he has crazy stuff going on. They broke one of his windows in one time. You remember that?
Hey, has Jim got any more magnets on his truck lately? That was that night too. It was pretty cool. On the show.
No, but they did take some from the garage and they've returned them. And I think that's one of those is going to be in my next video. I think I'm getting confused on what I've already put out and what's coming out. It's like brain doesn't work that good enough.
It's all good.
But yeah, they have been. And what's interesting is that every letter that they've taken that I put out there, you know, there's multiple colors like those ones kids play with, the alphabet. Every one that they've taken has been blue.
We use the blue ribbon in our area too for marking stuff. A lot of people use the blue, but that comes from you. You know, that's how we got the blue because we watch what you got going on.
Well, and I kind of heard it too. In fact, I think people like in the inner circle would discuss that quite. Like Rio would find blue stuff in structures, and you know, and he would think they might be like they prefer that color, like they really like it. For a while, I was like, you know, I don't know. It could just be coincidence, but actually, I think they do. They do like blue. From what I've experienced, there's been a lot of gifts that they've given me that were blue. And there for a while, there was even a certain shade of blue that matched that little cloth that I have out there sometimes. That shade of blue was part of the whole moving stuff, bringing me gifts or whatever, you know. So
I have a question. How come you gave up on food and peanut butter? And I mean, I know once in a while you leave them the apple or a banana in the basket or.
Well, when I first started gifting, I put apples and all kinds of stuff out there like that. And what happens is you can't tell for sure what's taking it unless you put it somewhere that like a raccoon or a possum can't get it, because you don't know for sure what's going on. I mean, there'd be times that it was like it had to be a Bigfoot took it, but then there are other times it's like, you know. So I started trying to find ways to make sure I knew who was taking it or what was taking it. So finally, I figured out to hang it from the spouting out there off the garage. It's about 5 feet off the ground, the basket. And I don't think anything but them can get it out now. So it just kind of dwindled down to just so I could know, who was doing it.
Right.
But sometimes I do still put out an apple or bananas or something, and sometimes they take it and sometimes they don't.
Yep.
Like there's been one out there for the last few days, and I finally just chucked it over the hill. They aren't taking it, so yeah.
And I think they take what they need. I don't think they take more. So if they're being fed and they're not hungry, I don't think they're going to take it. That's just what we've come up with.
Like this time of year, especially with all the greenery and everything, I mean, they probably got plenty of stuff like that to eat.
Right. Yeah, we put ours under the ground now in Tupperware, and we bury it, and then we stack the stones on top of it, and that eliminates everything, because there's no animals that can pop Tupperware, and so that's how
a really good idea. And the fact that they know where you put it and take it out, unbury it, and
right. And that's like we were talking about last night. It's only the big guy that knows that it's under there. The little guy that's left behind right now, because we think that's what happened. There's just one there. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. He'll take the peanut butter, like we put a peanut butter on a log. We'll put it on a log and we put a stone on top of it. So if an animal's going to come and take it, that stone's going to end up on the ground. Well, he takes it, he puts the stone on top of the log, and the peanut butter is gone. So he can do that, but he doesn't get the part about, or she doesn't get the part about the ground. So
yeah. Well, that one time I put a jar of peanut butter out, and it had been out there a while, and it was the lid was on tight and everything. It had the seal, that like paper foil, whatever they put on top of it, and the lid. So I go out there one morning, and the lid, it's opened. There was a hole poked like through that papery stuff, and there was a stick stuck in it. And they had been taking a stick and getting peanut butter out of there. Apparently the stick was still in it, laying there on the ground. So, I mean, they were using a tool for sure.
That's so cool. All right, everybody, we're going to take a couple more questions, and then we're going to call it a night. And then we're going to have an episode 3. I find out next week when the oil comes out of my eye, and then we will finish up, and we're going to start the gifting from the log all the way to now on the porch. How's that sound? Does that sound good with you?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, Jim, are you coming out tonight or what? Or people are wanting to see you? Come out and say hi.
He says no.
No. All right, Jim, I'm coming to your house next summer. And I eat a lot of food.
It's like he mow the grass. Did you hear him?
Yeah, I'll mow the grass. I'm good. All right, everybody. Got time for a couple more questions if you want to get them in. We did good crowd tonight. We're up to 100 at one point. We got 70 still.
Good.
It was a good night. Why don't you tell? How about this? We'll send it with you telling your most favorite story that you've experienced since you've been doing the whole Bigfoot thing. Your most favorite moment out of everything. And I know it's going to be tough.
Yeah, that is tough. There've been let me see. I'll tell you a few. How's that sound? I'll kind of make it quick.
Okay.
One time when I was walking up back, I had mentioned it earlier, getting whooped at. Like I walked over the hill, was heading towards the woods back there, the wood line, and I actually saw a footprint and footprints walking into the direction where this whoop came from. But anyhow, I was walking down there. I turned left, start walking around the edge of the woods, and I mean, really close behind me. It was just the most loud. It was like, and it was just like, you know how people say how loud their vocals are. It was it scared me. It was really loud. And I wish I would have turned around and looked now, but instead I just thought, I had nothing with me, absolutely nothing. I was just no knife, no phone. I wasn't recording. So I just thought, I better go back home. I just turned and walked up the hill and went back home. But that's one of the most memorable audio, vocal, like experience that I've had. Except for, I'd probably say this would be my favorite, was whenever they brought me a bouncy ball. I don't know what to call it. Like you get out of the gumball machines. Those little rubber balls.
Yep.
A multicolored one. I go out in the morning. It was early, and I found it. I thought, oh, that's cool. I went back in the house to get my phone to take a picture of it. So when I approached it and I picked it up, as I picked it up, I heard a vocalization come from the woods right back here. And it was a very kind of a soft woo, but it was loud enough that, it was obvious it was them. And they did it when I picked up the ball. So I thought, oh, wow, that's cool. So I took the ball and I walked around the house and I stood over here where I could see where the vocalization was coming from. And I talked to him and I said, I really love this. I love this ball, and, I love it. It's great. Thank you. And then they vocalized at me again, the same woo from the same spot. And then I kept talking, I talked to him more, and then they did it again. And I thought, I think I just talked to a Bigfoot. How cool is that?
Well, that's pretty cool.
Back and forth things. That's probably one of my favorite.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with a Sasquatch. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's something that doesn't happen every day.
No. I was so excited. I remember telling people, I was like, I think I just talked to a Bigfoot.
That's awesome. Well, you've had plenty of great comments from everybody tonight. I want to thank everybody that's been in the chat. You guys kept it to a nice and clean and nice, great talk. I'm sorry if I missed anybody's questions. And like I said, she'll be back one more time. And maybe again after that, who knows, sometime down the road. But we're definitely going to have her back one more time. So again, thank you very much, my friend. It was awesome.
You're welcome.
I apologize about the eye thing again, but
I don't even know how you're doing what you're doing, to be honest.
I always, if I tell somebody I'm doing it, I'm doing something. So I'm not going to back out. But
yeah, well, you got to take it.
When I can see again, it's going to be awesome.
All righty.
Thank you. And everybody else on here is saying thank you very much. Nice to see you, Angie.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's very enjoyable.
All right. So I will talk to you backstage. I'll say goodbye to these people, and I'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. All right. That was round 2 with Angie. She's awesome. Awesome. We've been on here for an hour and a half tonight. I want to just thank everybody for tuning in. I also want to make an announcement. I am been chosen to be team leader and November 168 for Bigfoot Odyssey. I'm very excited for that. I'm going to be in Florida, down in the Everglades swamps, I believe, somewhere down there. And I just want to thank Carrie for choosing me as a team leader. I'm very excited to be part of that. Also, Tuesday night, we have a show coming up, and the beasts are coming in. They're going to be invading Discover Sasquatch studio. Mark and Larry will be here on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. And as Larry would say, get in the woods, people.